His portrayals of Dr. Dick Richards in ABC's China Beach, the emergency medical hologram. He also played the Doctor in the film Star Trek Voyager. He played the cowboy in Inner Space, Coach Cutlet on The Wonder Years, for which he received an Emmy nomination, and Richard Woolsey in the Canadian-American military science fiction television series Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Stargate Universe. Please put your hands together for Robert Picardo.
Hello. Welcome to the greatest show in the galaxy. Here in the center of the galaxy, Peterborough. Thank you all for coming. It is my pleasure to introduce my colleagues from Star Trek Voyager and also from elsewhere in the Star Trek franchise. First of all, may I introduce Mr. Manu Intirami. Take the stage. I've known Manu since he was just a young Borg. And now, a relative of his, the Borg Queen, please put your hands together for Alice Krieger. And now another dear colleague of mine, I'm sure you've seen him before. He looks exactly like me if you leave me in the dryer for an extra 10 minutes. Ethan Phillips. And now, our sexy young cast member, Garrett Wong. Next, we have the intergalactic gas giant, Tim Russ. Put your hands together for Commander Chakotay, Robert Beltran. And finally, please welcome in her first UK appearance, Jerry Ryan. Do we have a place for people to ask questions from? Is there a roving mic, or are people going to... Because I have no intention of moderating this crowd. I will be so ridiculed by people unnamed if I...
Camera that's in front of us recording us. So we came in for rehearsal, and so during rehearsal, the director will say, okay, action, just to watch us do the stuff, and throughout the rehearsal, he'll usually say, cut, back to one, do it again. So after our first rehearsal, he goes, cut, back to one. So I reached back to escort Jerry Ryan back to the first position and started again. And I wasn't really looking. So with my left hand, I reached back to grab what I thought was her elbow, her arm. But instead I grabbed another part of her anatomy.
It was the most sex he'd had in 2 years.
Quick little anatomy lesson. Notice the height of an elbow, just at profile. But anyway, go on.
Right. Yeah. So at that point, I heard Jerry go, Gooby! And I look over, I go, oh! I go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I thought I was grabbing your elbow. And she looked at me and said, my elbow. Oh, okay. So, after we finished that rehearsal, everyone went back to their trailer while the crew set up all the lights, and about 45 minutes later they called us back into the set. Now, well, I was already on the set before Jerry. Now, they called Jerry in. Once Jerry came back on the set, she was giggling and laughing and just, I didn't know what was happening until she came onto the set. And I noticed that she had a Post-it note, a yellow Post-it note. And now the Post-it note had Why, thank you very much.
Welcome to British Airways. Flights to Los Angeles have been delayed.
That's a horrible British accent. But anyway, so basically, she has a Post-it note on her shoulder. And it's written in black marker, elbow, with an arrow pointed down to her elbow. She has another Post-it note on her chest, her upper chest, pointing down to her left breast, saying, not an elbow. So she's showing it off and laughing, and that's...
Because I'm helpful that way.
And she says, look, Gooby, I just provided a visual aid for you, in case you don't know what's what. So that was the elbows. Was that pretty good, though? Yeah? Thank you. Thank you. Do we have another question out there? Over there? It seems like all the questions are coming from that side. They said, what was it like to kiss Jerry Ryan? I said, well, if you look at Jerry Ryan, she has full lips. Upper lip, bottom lip, full. Not like President George Bush, like a Muppet. Not like that. Full lips. I have full lips. So two full lips kissing together. It's like two Sealy Posturepedic mattresses just...
I want to ask what you were doing kissing George Bush.
And Timeless is the other episode, where the ship crashes in the ice planet and Ensign Kim and Chakotay are the two left alive.
That was the best episode ever.
All right.
I think my least favorite was called Twisted. Was Twisted? Twisted was the one where all the interior space in Voyager was reconfigured. So the whole show, we walked through a door and went, oh, this is not the room I thought I was coming in. That was the drama. That was the whole gag. 43 minutes of, oh, I thought this was going to be the bathroom. So we had one scene up on the holodeck in what was called Sandrine's Bar. It was a Tom Paris, it was a Tom Paris holo program. And we had a long shot around the table, and every cast member had one line. Does anybody remember shooting this? And we were all there. It's late at night. We're shooting the most ridiculous episode we've done thus far in our first 2.5 years. And we could not get through that one shot with everybody getting their line once, because either actor number 3 or actor number 7 would blow it. And finally, the poor director who wanted to shoot herself, remember Nancy Malone? She finally had to cut it up in singles because we couldn't say one line. But we didn't feel bad about it because they couldn't write a script about anything other than, what room am I in? All right, so that was the worst one. The best one for me, I think, I loved Someone to Watch Over Me, but where the Doctor has fantasies, where he programs himself to be able to daydream. And one of the producer writers, Joe Manowski, called me and said, if the Doctor had fantasies, what would they be? And I said, sketching 7 nude. And then I said, wait a minute, did I say that out loud or just think it? And that was the first one. And did you know that was my fault, that they did that scene? All right, so I made a confession publicly. And she was a very good sport about it. And also in the scene, the Doctor, of course, had a scene in the briefing room where all 3 of our female cast members threw themselves at him, and that was the happiest day of my life.
That episode will be called Tinker, Tenor, Dr. Spy. Next.
This is a great question. My favorite episode, without a doubt, was episode 47, because of the way it was written. I'd say my least favorite was probably episode 105. I didn't think that was really that well written. But I also liked 162, episode 162, which I love. It was really good.
Thank you.
Well, I only had 2 episodes, so I don't have a least favorite. But the 2 I had were very favourite because the producers had said to me, consider the Ball Queen omnisexual. So for the duration of the 2 episodes, the possibility existed that I might have kissed Jerry Ryan.
My favorite episode was an episode called Imperfection. I moved out to Hollywood maybe 3 or 4 years before I got on the show with these guys. And the episode was about Icheb giving up a cortical node to save Seta's life. And I remember reading it. And I don't know, as far as Icheb goes on the show, almost every episode I did, it looked like I was going to die. So I always thought they were going to kill me off when I started reading the script. And by the time I got to the end, I'm like, yes, still on the show, still on the show. But that episode was about giving and about sacrificing, yourself for another. And I actually called my mother after I read it, like crying, like, Mom, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to affect people. So that's a true story, and that was don't laugh at me, man. And people have, like a guy in Germany stood up and said, thanks for that episode because it helped him get through his kidney transplant that his brother was having or something. It touched me really deeply. My least favorite episode was Collective, the Borg thing, wearing the Bob Blackman makeup, because I was excited because I was going to be a Borg, a big badass Borg, except Bob Blackman, since Icheb just went in for a while, he was like 70% Borg. So in the costume design, they decided to do full Borg except my white, skinny 19-year-old leg. So I was just walking around like full Borg except for this white, skinny, ugly leg. And I think it's because he just wanted...
And I think in breaking the rules and telling the story from Kate's perspective and doing it differently, I thought it was very good. And I had a chance to do something different for Tuvok as well.
Okay, all right. I thought the first hour was amazing. I thought it was fantastic. And if I was the executive producer of Voyager, at the end of the first hour, I would have said, "To be continued at a theater near you," and did a 2-hour movie to adequately, address the ending of Voyager. I thought the second hour was just tying up loose ends too quickly. I also thought it was funny that they asked all the actors to put old age makeup on for that part where we're older. And Ensign Kim was the only one who agreed to have jowls put on and to look older. Whereas the women, they said, "It's okay, we're going to make you..."